to do this too. So I'm recording now. So I'm doing my points, and I'm just taking my rod readings and putting, and I'll put one or two more rod readings in. And so my next one is 384. So I am going in a pretty straight line. 14.2, and it's at also. That one was a pretty flat section. Here we go. And I'm doing it without my dynamic. When I'm doing XY, I prefer not to have it. So this is at 384.7, comma 614.2. They are coming out pretty good. Oh, this one was at 7.7. And then I'll just do one more. Put the X in first. Okay, so then my next one starts at 0, 0. And I have to come down and put in one more. I have to put in a bunch more posts, but I'm just going to put in one more right now. And you can kind of see when you're moving along where it gets a little bit of a change. So now I'm at 383. So I'm not going perfectly straight, but pretty straight, right? And 436.9, and that's an elevation. So those are the ones I happen to be getting. And so this one is going to go to 383.5, comma 436.9. Those are lining up in a very nice. And I can copy this. And I get 59.3. So there we go. So I am getting a nice line, right? So if I were to make my survey line, and just for now, I'm going to make it blue so that you can see the difference. If I drew a line between those two, it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn close, right? Closer than any survey we've ever done. Okay, so now that's what you're going to do with your line that you measure. And I'd like you to get like 7 or 8 spots on it. Now you're going to make a graph. So I'm going to copy this line over to here. Sorry. I want to get my data too, just because it makes it easier for me to work it. And I have to figure out where the bottom of this is. So I'm going to say it's going to go from 50 to 80. Okay, my graph of the surface is going to go from 50 to 80. And so I'm going to do an offset, kind of like maybe 40 feet. Maybe I'll go 20 feet. Okay, and that will be from 50 to 60. Okay, and I can even make those probably a little bit smaller. It's going to be pretty hefty. So let me make them, I'll go an offset of 10 feet. And this is just a matter of kind of trial and error to see how you like it. And each one of these will be 2 feet, right? 52, 54, 56, 58, and 60. Okay, now the only thing is, I'd like these ones to be a little bit lighter, maybe, right? Because on a grid, it looks funny if they're all the same. So I'll make that color just a little bit lighter. See if I can go to true color. Doesn't that look better for a graph? Isn't that cool? Yeah. Because then you don't, in Excel there's no scale. So this gives you what civil engineers always do is they put horizontal on a true scale and then they change the Y scale to show what you want. And Revit doesn't do this. So this is just what they do. It's really weird. This is what civil engineers do. They make these things all the time. And the problem is Revit doesn't allow you to do that. Revit doesn't let you change scales. Yeah. So Revit's kind of dorky that way. Okay, so now I'm going to put this here. And I don't know what my distance was here, but I want to get some sort of a normal. Here. So that's about 500 feet. So I'm going to make this offset every 100. And so now I've made my grid. And you know what we do a lot of times is a lot of times companies will have these kind of presets so that you can put it in and it's a dynamic block and you can just scale it. So I'll just do an extend function. I don't know why that's not letting me into that, but I'll just leave that there for now. Okay, so now I want to draw some lines. This is going to, and then I need to have this one say, that one I was going to say was 50 feet. And then that one becomes 60, 70. Farther I need to go. And so now I can do a trim. There. So I'm pretty well set with it. Okay. So now I need to draw to 67.5. Where is that? There's 66, 7.5. And that's plenty close for us right now. This one is going to draw to 78.7. This one will draw to 78.7. And this one will draw to 59.3. There we go. So now I can get rid of these. And then I'm going to draw a polyline, which I should also have on a new layer. I'll put her just on a thick layer. And you draw a polyline right there, endpoint. And you do a P edit. Why was that not a polyline? I don't know why I didn't get that as a polyline. And I give it a global width of, I don't know, 2 maybe. That looks pretty good. Okay, now some places will ask you to rotate this, some places won't. So depending on what you want to do, normally you would take this and move it aside, rotate it into place so that you can present it the way you want it to. Correct. Nope. Nope. Correct. Yours is just out in space. So it'll look like that. There we go. And then you're going to end up on your paper. Actually, it's good to do it on here. Right? That was a distance. So you can take your properties and set your dim scale. Down here somewhere, dim scale. I don't know what it's going to be, 40. And probably set that to, I don't know why I'm off a little bit there. I probably didn't rotate that exactly down correctly. And if you want, you can put a suffix on it. There you go. And then the last thing is, if you are interested in doing it, you can put a hatch on there under part of it. So I'll pick Earth. And probably going to be also somewhere around 40. That looks pretty good. And you just put it under part of it. Just to show that that was Earth. So that's pretty much kind of what it would look like, but you'll do the whole. Oh, and then the last thing is a P edit if you feel like it. And do the spline command. Now, if you need this to go up a little bit more, you can adjust these so that it's a little bit. Oop, didn't want to go there with it. There we go. So if you think it's more smooth than what you actually got, then you can do that. Probably have to read that hatch. Kind of a lot of cool stuff you can do with that, right? Gives you some good AutoCAD skills. And believe it or not, this is what civil engineers do. It's really, to me, kind of weird. There it is. That's really what I want you to get. Just something simple like that. Cool? All right. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and turn off that record.